Hey there friends and enemies, Jopa here again, and today I want to check out the overview trailer for Fellowship, a new game that looks incredibly interesting. It's almost like an MMO without the filler. You go straight into dungeons and are just taking on the game in that way. It sounds like a very promising premise that I am interested in. A lot of the MMOs that we see come out have a lot of these fetch quests and nonsense that you have to go around. Like, I enjoyed the story of these games, but there's something about wasting a lot of time going from area to area, killing a bunch of minor mobs, and just not getting the progression that you might want. So maybe Fellowship is able to solve that. We'll see. Anyway, let's check out the trailer, see what they have for us today. Playtest, gameplay, not fun.
Hi everyone, I'm Hamish Bode, Community Director for Fellowship. On behalf of the team here at Chief Ripple, we couldn't be more excited to invite you all to our public playtest.
Definitely got
first
some
things first, I'd like to give you an overview of our game
MMO
and get you
or
up to speed on what you can expect from
wild
Fellowship.
type vibes as far as the general appearance. Kind of looks like Wayfinder, to be honest.
Fellowship is a multiplayer online dungeon adventure, or a MODA, taking the best parts of the end-game MMO experience and putting them front and center. If you love cooperative dungeon-focused gameplay, Fellowship is the game for you.
Scott, Team Finder.
To get started in our game, you'll first select your hero from our roster of tanks, healers, and damage dealers.
That's going to be a big key because it doesn't have classes, it has heroes instead. How diverse, how many heroes there are, how diverse their skill sets are, and how fun to play will be like the big, I think, telling point on how successful this game is long term. But you can see, look at all the skills and everything like that. It looks pretty in depth for sure.
A tank's primary role is to absorb damage and keep the enemy focused on them. Positioning and threat management are key to optimal tank play. Damage dealers are the ones that bring the pain to the enemy. You want to be doing as much damage as possible to take down the enemies while the tank keeps them busy. A healer keeps the team in tip-top shape, focusing on keeping everyone's health bars high and providing buffs to the rest of the group.
Sounds interesting. I think
After
it's
selecting a
one
hero you'd like to
tank,
play, you'll find yourself in the
one
Stronghold,
healer,
a
and
shared
two,
hub where you can get ready for your
DPS
next
characters.
adventure, manage your
Or run.
stash, upgrade gear, and figure out your rotations on the training dummies. Once you're ready, open up our group finder to find like-minded players that are looking for the same challenge that you are. Once your group is found, you'll start the dungeon and fight your way through packs of enemies, each with unique and challenging abilities of their own that you'll need
looks
to
like
keep an eye
there's
on.
pretty diverse types of enemies.
You and your group will
depending
have to
on
work
what dungeon
together
you're
and
in.
take out enough of these enemies to up your kill score as you make your way towards the boss. Now, these bosses aren't your standard
so you have a
hack
kill
and slash
score and a
fare,
timer.
and you'll need to pay careful attention to the boss mechanics that Fellowship has to offer. A lot of our encounters will make veterans feel right at home, while
Yeah, the
others
mechanics
will
will
push
be
the
a big
boundaries to
part
give
of
players an
how much
entirely
fun
new
and
challenge.
replayable the game. Yo, this is a shark that just jumped on you. That's kind of...
As players reach higher difficulties, these bosses will become even more challenging as they unlock their own advanced mechanics and abilities. Pay attention and communicate with your group to end up on top.
That's kind of wild. The bosses, so they'll reuse some of the bosses in all likelihood, but they are going to be upgraded versions with additional abilities, attacks, and mechanics. It's a good way to do it, especially for a game that I think this is a not a full AAA title, I don't believe, and so because of that, taking advantage of that and like having progression in that way, I think is a good way to have a game like with some similar designs of enemies, but not feel as repetitive.
During these dungeons, you'll also need to keep a close eye on your own abilities, their cooldowns, including your ultimate, and find the optimal time to use them.
Yeah, the ultimates, if they're really good, could be awesome. I like the brawler tank, to be honest.
Once you take down that final boss and have fulfilled the kill score requirement for the dungeon, you'll be handsomely rewarded with a big shiny
So you
chest
can't
of work
just
for your
speed
efforts.
run to the boss. You have to actually
You'll
get
then return to the
enough
stronghold
kills
to
to hit
revel
the
in your
score.
rewards, as well as the new skills, talents, and power that will be added to your toolbox for that hero
I
along
wonder
the
if
way.
you'll level up each character individually.
But that's just the beginning. When you're ready, it's time to dive straight back into your next dungeon, which may take you around 30 minutes as you work your way through multiple bosses. Or if you're short on time, we also have adventures which have a single boss and will take about 10 to 15 minutes each.
I like that.
We want to give you options to chase down the loot you need in the time that you have available.
That makes a
With
lot of
each
sense.
completed dungeon and adventure, you'll gain the power you need to take on new and increasingly difficult
New
challenges.
gear.
And you'll be rewarded with loot that is
New
far more
cosmetics, it looks like,
powerful
as well.
than what you began with. For those of you that haven't played a game like this for whatever reason, maybe you just didn't have the time, or the prospect of doing NPC
I
quests
do
for
think this
hundreds
is
of
a
hours
very
didn't appeal to
promising
you.
premise, and I could see
We
it
are
being
so
popular.
excited to invite you into an experience that has been hidden away from you for way too long. We've put a lot of work into making sure that you have the best experience right from the start. We know that for a lot of you, your competitive spirit is why you'll want to play Fellowship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We've included high skill cap heroes in our roster, a group finder system so you can find similarly skilled players, customizable UI, we've also got leaderboards to climb,
Interesting.
gear to collect, and a bunch of ways to gain the prestige that comes with being the best in the business.
Okay. I think this is a good idea. I think this could be a very good game. Execution is going to be
This
the
is
big
just
question
the
mark.
beginning of the Fellowship journey, and we can't wait to make this game with and for our community. So make sure you jump into our public playtest available at Steam Next Fest starting February 24th.
Oh, not too long away, people will be able to play it. That's very promising. So, ultimately, I think this looks very interesting. I don't know if it'll be successful. It's hard to slide into the MMO space right now with so much competition. But having a game that's more casual friendly to start, where you don't have to spend hours and hours getting to the fun stuff, you know what I'm saying, is interesting. I don't know if there's going to be a story. I don't know anything like that. And that's a big question mark as well. Some people like that. Some people don't care. But they may just stick to what they are really trying to do best. And again, I think if it's successful, if it's fun, if people enjoy playing together, if it's bridging the gap that a lot of MMOs struggle with for casual players becoming eventually the more hardcore players as they start to learn everything and they play a lot, I think that could be fascinating. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.